Welcome and welcome back to another edition of That Green Vegans podcast. I'm Kelly. Hey, so today's episode is I can show you better than I can tell you. And I feel like nowadays in this climate, it really is about what you do and how present yourself to the world. Because I feel like people just talk. And, it's this old saying that when I was younger, they used to say, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. And that's why it's very important that you kind of like hold on to your goals and your dreams, because what happens is when you talk about your goals, when you talk about your dreams, you give people the opportunity to like tear it down, right? And I've had that happen multiple times where I've shared things with people and then they just, literally destroyed it, right? And then they destroyed me. And then, not destroy me, but it just like, I start second guessing myself. And I'm going to tell you an example. Give you an example. So years ago, I wanted to open up a cannabis business, right? And so I remember when I was just starting off, whatever, and I had multiple people who were, I was looking at potential customers kind of thing, right? And I know a couple of people, and then so I reached out to them, whatever, and I was telling them like, hey, I was reaching out to business. That's what it was. These are my friends. They all had businesses. So, I feel like this. Why reinvent the wheel, right? So if these people have businesses and are successful businesses, why don't I just, tell them my plans and, maybe they can help me out or give me some advice, blah, 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 blah. So when I did tell them about my plan, this particular person that I really trusted told me like, oh no, it'll never work. My nephew does it and, it's just oversaturated, blah, 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 blah. Right. And so when this person who I really admired them, and I trusted their opinion, when they told me that, it was basically it's just kind of like, I felt defeated, right? Like, okay, well, why even try kind of thing. And so I really, how can I say, like, it delayed me. It delayed me from actually doing it. Right. So then fast forward a while, something in my spirit says, you know what, why are you listening to people? Like, you can't fly unless you try kind of situation. And if I do it and I failed, oh, well, then I tried. And that's the thing. Like I want to, get across, if you have a dream or desire, regardless of what it is, like my mom, rest her soul, always talk about her, but she would say to me stuff like, you can do anything you want to, right? And that seed got planted inside of me, right? Like, if I told my mom, like, Mom, I want to be a garbage can, she'd be like, be the best garbage can ever, Dania. You can do it. I'm being facetious, but I always use it as an example because she was my biggest cheerleader, right? And the thing about it is she's still here with me. She's in my heart, she's in my mind, she's in my spirit. And anytime that people try to tear me down or make me feel like I can't do something, I hear her voice, I feel her. And so then I'm like, cap, 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 like if someone was to tell me like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yeah, right. And that's happened to me multiple times. So anyway, go back to the story. So he said, I can't do it, da, 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 blah, blah. So then eventually I did try, right? And I started off slow and I took off. I took off. And I think like the second time I was at an event, I made $5,000 in a day. In a day. Now, if I would have, I did the math. And so if I continued that, I would have been like a millionaire. but, I did not. But, and you know what? But that experience for me then was just so amazing. And then I became really popular because people knew me as, vegan. And so a lot of I think I did all kind of things, like I did edibles, and, I sold, what the people want, give people what they want. So whatever it was, I did it. And so people came to me, and, and it's like, it got to the point where we were have like these, like pop-up shops, like all over California. And it got to the point where people would be like, you got to come, kind of thing. And then I got like this, like a clientele thing, because people, they will come, and I got a lot of customers that way, whatever. But I digress. What I'm saying is that if I listened to that guy, my friend, whatever, because I'd known him for years, if I would have listened to him, I wouldn't have had that experience, right? And so that's why I say, show them. Don't tell them. Don't tell people. Show them, right? Like, for example, when I used to work for the courts, I remember I was working for jury, right? And so in criminal, and I was there for like a couple of months, right? And then I was like, this job is just horrible. Like, the supervisor was horrible. Like, I mean, she wasn't horrible. She was actually really nice, and she always fed us, and she always like bought us food and stuff like that. But it's just like the way the environment was set up. I don't know. It just didn't rock with me, like, mm-mm. And then it would be like, okay, people will come to me. Right. So like there would be, say there's two lines, right? And people are coming in for jury duty. And so they will come into my line. So it would be like a long line of people coming to get checked in. And so then my my coworker, he wouldn't have that many people. And so then she would get mad at me. Well, why do you have a long line? Tell them to go next door. I said, I'm not going to tell them to go next door. You tell them to go you tell them to go over there. Like, people came to me because I'm friendly, I smile, whatever. Or then she would say stuff like, you're taking too long between each person. And it's like, look, regardless, it's still customer service. People are anxious. I get it. Like, you going to jury duty, you don't want to get picked. I would say 90% of the people that come to jury duty, they're scared. They think they're going to go to jail. And it's just like, it's just a whole thing, right? So it's like when they come, I tell them like, look, like if say they want to get out of jury duty, right? I go like, these are the things that they will excuse. And, they go, oh, well, I have XYZ going on. And it's like, oh yeah, you're fine. Just, listen to all the instructions, and then they're going to give you an opportunity to like, whatever. And then I said, but listen, because sometimes they're really quick. And sometimes, they'll tell you if it's going to be, because I think people be thinking like how the OJ Simpson trial was, where they'll be, what is it? Be in jury duty for like 3 months, whatever. I said, no, sometimes it's not even like that. Sometimes it's just a day. And then I said, sometimes you'll get picked for jury duty, and then they will settle out of court, and then you don't even have to show up. Kind of thing. So I would like, and I don't know, my supervisor was pissed off. So I'm like, what, this is crazy. Oh, and the reason why I didn't like that job is because she would not let me leave a minute early. She wouldn't. So like I had to catch a bus, right? And so I got out at, say I got out at 4:00, right? And so then the bus came at 4:05, and I was on the third floor. And so I would have to run down the stairs and through this back alley to get to the bus stop, right? And I had 5 minutes. Let me tell you something. You talk about strong ass legs. My calves was caffing, okay? But anyway, I would just ask her like, hey, could I, leave like, 2 minutes early, whatever? And she's like, no, even though I would get to work a half an hour early, and start my work. But anyway, that's another story for another time. So like, what's your point, Kelly? I'm getting to it. Let me just give you the backstory. Okay, I'm done with the backstory. So anyway, I'm at this job. And so I tell my coworker, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to apply for this job. I didn't say what the job was for or nothing like that. And he said, oh, no, you can't. I said, why? And he said, because if you got to be here for a year before you can apply for another job. I said, really? He's like, yeah, you got to pass probation. And I said, oh, okay. And I sat, then I finished my job and I was feeling a little defeated because I was like, damn, I want to get out of this job. I can't. I mean, the people was cool, whatever, but it was just boring. It was just a boring job. So anyway, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna try. Forget it. I'm gonna try because because in the past, I didn't listen. I did my own thing and it worked out. So I said, you know what? Worst case scenario, they can say, no, Kelly, you got to work here for a year. So I applied for the position, and like 3 days later, they was like, we want to set up an interview. I said, oh, okay. So then I was like, sure, well, say less. This is human resources telling me, an interview. I said, okay. So then I told my boss, I said, okay, I need Friday morning off, right? It was a Zoom call, whatever. And she says, oh no, you can't have. I said, oh no, excuse me. I wasn't asking you. I was giving you the courtesy of telling you 5% Kelly came out that I am not going to be here before 11, period, right? So she's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, make it work. So then, went to my interview, whatever. And so, I did the interview went, you know what? If you would have asked me how did it go, it's like I really couldn't tell. Like when I tell you they had poker faces, I'm smiling and stuff. They was asking, and they didn't even ask me a lot of questions. Like I studied about this job and all the lingo. I was 10 toes down. I was ready for this, interview. And they just asked me like 3-4 questions, and then that was it, right? I think the interview started at 9:00 in the morning. By 9:10, it was over with. So I was like, okay, whatever. Let me tell you something. I never told this story to anybody. I dropped to my knees and I said, God, I need this job. And if you give me this job, I promise to do whatever it was. I don't know at the time what I was into, but I promised not to do that. So then, I was like, okay, let me go get ready for work. So I got up, I got my little clothes, whatever. And I was, about to go, catch the BART. So as I'm about to open the door, this now is around 10 o'clock, right? I'm about to open the door. I get a phone call and it was from, the courts. And I'm like, hello. And she was like, hi, I'm calling to offer you the position. And I said, what? Are you serious? You offering me the position? She said, is that a yes or no? I said, yes. So now I come into work, right? I'm happy. I'm so happy because... And so my boss didn't know, because it just happened. So then, what did she tell me? She was telling me something. Oh, anyway, I don't know. She was telling me something. And I was just, okay. Okay. Like, cause I'm like thinking to myself, so then I was like, okay, when should I tell her? And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know if different departments talk to each other, whatever. So then, yeah, eventually, and this was for human resources, right? So I'm above, boop, boop, boop. I'm up there. So anyway, eventually I told her, I said, hey, I think she was gonna make the schedule. I said, hey, we'll just give you FYI, you put me in the schedule for next week, but the week after, I won't be here. So she was like, oh, yeah, I know. Or something. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, so I say this to say, this is a long ass story. I say this to say, show people. Because when you start telling people stuff, I swear they just start picking at stuff. Like I said, if I would have listened to that guy he was cool. If I would listen to him and not applied, I wouldn't have gotten that position, right? And that position actually, um, it even leveraged me to a higher position, right, in management. And then from that position, it leveled me to bigger and better opportunities, making more kind of situations and better situations. But anyway, so you show people, you know what I'm saying? Like if you tell someone like, I want to, because one thing that people always say is like, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. Stop talking about it. Stop talking that you want to lose weight. Just do it, right? How? Eat less. Stop eating so much. Period. Stop eating so much. Stay active. You have to be like hella active and doing hella jumping jacks or all that kind. Just be active. Just move your body. Move your body. When I was sick, and I have shared this story before, I didn't know, but I was really, really sick. I had to get surgery and stuff, but I didn't move. I did not move. I was literally on a couch for 4 days. 4 days on the couch, 5 days, actually 5 days. And I could not move. I could not eat. And I was like literally just withering away. And I withered. I mean, when I was literally withering, right? And then when I went to finally I checked myself to emergency. And when I got into emergency, that's when I found out I had to have emergency surgery. But whew, that was crazy. But I was just thinking like, dang, and I lost 9 pounds within 4 days. Like I knew I was dying. I really was. And it's like, and that's another thing too. It's like we have to listen to our bodies. But just, it's the same thing. It's like don't even listen to yourself. Because for me, I learned my lesson, but it's just like I kept putting it off like, oh, I just got, eat this or take some, antacids or whatever. And it was just like, no, oh, no. If I get it's so funny. My doctor's funny. I don't care what it is. That's why I got insurance. That's what insurance is for, right? Because I had something going on with my pinky, and my pinky was, I don't know, it kept getting stuck. I don't know if y'all know that. Have you ever had your pinky get stuck? That is crazy. I mean, it wasn't like it was like in pain. It was just, that's scary. When one of your fingers just lock up, whatever. But come to find out, like I was drinking a bunch of water and stuff, but I needed to add electrolytes in it. Yeah, that stuff. Because my body wasn't getting enough of it. So I had to add this like hydrating powder stuff, whatever. And yeah, that it worked, right? Because it's like your body is just so delicate. I mean, it's crazy how it works. But like, yeah, if you want to lose weight, and like now, like I lost so much weight. I was looking like, yeah, not healthy, right? And then recently I just started like just eating like crazy. And I'm at a point right now where I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? But for me to keep talking, and that's another thing. Remember that story called The Boy That Cried Wolf? I should name it that. He was like, oh, there's a wolf. And everybody's like, oh. But then he did it again and he did it again, whatever. I don't know, he did 2 or 3 times, whatever. And then people just was like, you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person where you talk so much that people don't take you seriously kind of thing. And I think all of this came about because I was talking to a really good friend of mine, and she was just saying that. I'm like, I mean, I know you didn't ask. Well, she did low key ask me for my opinion, kind of thing, but I put a little extra on this stuff, and I was like, I don't see results. Well, like, what are you doing? Like, you keep saying you want to do XYZ. I don't want to say what it is because then she gonna know who it is, and she do listen. But you know what? Like, don't be vain. I ain't talking about you. Like, I'm just saying. And, I talk to multiple people. So that part. You can't keep saying you're going to do XYZ, but don't do nothing about it. You know? If I say, oh, I want to paint my toenails, but I just go for months without painting my toenails, but I gotta paint just do it. Why you, look, I don't know if you've ever seen Clubhouse, right? But in Clubhouse, it says in the top corner, leave quietly. Leave quietly. Just go off, do what you need to do, and then show up like bam. Then people will be like, whoa. I don't go to work and say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wear some plaid pants with a blazer. No, I just pop up with whatever outfit I'm going to wear. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, oh, okay. I mean, that was a horrible example, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to wrap this up because I really got, I didn't went on a rant. It's like, I should have like a little disclaimer. Here comes the rant. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, just show them. Like, what did Kendrick Lamar say? Sometimes you just got to pop up. Sometimes you got to pop up and show them something. And that's what you need to do, right? Less talk. Boop, 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 boop. More action. Do, 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 do. And if no one's told you today that they love you, I love you. Mwah. Now go out there and be great. Bye.